we're gonna be reading The Little Old Engines by the Rev. W. Aldrey. Alright. Post 1. Dear friends, you remember in Four Little Engines that Sir Handel Brown, the owner, and Skill away to be mended. Oh. These stories tell what happened when the little old engine came home. Skellowy is not real. You can only see him in his books. But there is a real engine just like Skellowy. He's very, very old and he has been mended. His name is Talium Yun. He lives at Talion in Wales. You would all enjoy going to see him at work. Trucks. Sir Handel and Peter Sam had hard work while Skellowy was away. The owner gave them buffers and even bought diesel named Rusty. But Sir Handel grumbled continuously. One day, Gordon saw him shunting and laughed. Ha ha! My controller makes me shunt, Sir Handel said sheepishly. And take trucks to quarries too. I'm hardly sprung and I suffer dreadfully. Our controllers don't understand our feelings, sympathized Gordon. Now, if you were ill, he winked, you couldn't go, could you? Good idea, said Handel. I'll try it. I don't feel well. Be grumpy next morning. There wasn't time to explain him then, so some of the trucks were coupled behind Peter Sam's coaches, and Rusty promised to follow with the rest. He. Snickered Sir Handel, but no one noticed. They were all too busy. Peter Sam didn't mind the extra work. He left his coaches at top station and trundled cheerfully through the woods. The trucks chatted behind him. And in a shady way, but he paid no attention. It might have been better if he had. Slates come from quarries high up in the hills. They traveled down in trucks on a steep railway called Insulin Line. Empty trucks at the bottom are hitched to a rope. Loaded ones at the top are hitched to one another by their weight. Loaded trucks run down the Insulin Line, pulling up empty ones. There are strong brakes in the winding house at the top to prevent loaded trucks from running down too fast. The ropes are very strong too, but in spite of this, trucks sometimes play dangerous tricks. Peter Sam never bumped trucks unless they misbehaved. Sir Handel bumped them even if they were good. So they didn't like him and played tricks whenever they could. Peter Sam pushed the empty trucks to the siding where his fireman hitched them to the rope. Then on one another siding, he pulled back some loaded trucks. With these in front of him, he stood waiting. More loading trucks stood at the top of the insulin, ready to come down. They couldn't see Peter Sam. They thought he was Sir Handel and wanted to pay him out. They began to move faster. They grumbled. They reached halfway, gathering speed. Scrag him, they yelled. No, wait, it's Peter Sam. But it was no use. The loaded trucks were straining at the rope. They pulled it with a crack. Hurrah! They roared. Hurling down the hill, Peter Sam heard them. He shut his eyes. He tried and found him. Simon crouched in his cab. The crash jerked him violently backward. The handle says they are trucks, but they have seats, said Kip Sam. So I have to say they're coaches. What do you think, Scarlowy? Our old engine smiled. If they have seats, they're coaches. He said families. The handle likes Gertrude and Millicent best. Peter Sam went on. He always tries to take them alone. They have bogies. And he says they're the only real coaches we have. They reminded him of when he used to pull our express. Both have seats for passengers, but Millicent has a gun as well. He sells tickets and travels in a tiny cupboard place. I don't like that, he remarked sternously. Guards are very important. They need fans. They shouldn't be put into cupboards. Scarlowy said nothing, so Peter Sam continued. Did Rusty help you off your truck? Yes, he said. He comes to mend the line and do odd jobs. I like him. Smiled Scarlowy. So do I, Peter Sam. Explained how kind Rusty was when he had his accident. It's a pity Duncan doesn't like him. Who is Duncan? He came as a spare engine after my accident. Is he useful? He pull anything. I'm sure he means well, but he's bouncy and rude. He used to work in a factory, and his language is often strong. I understand, said Scarlowy gravely. Just then, the telephone rang. Ring, 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 said Scarlowy. Driver and fireman climbed into his cab. Come on, old boy, they said Duncan. Duncan is stuck in the tunnel, and well, they had to get him out. Scarlowy was pleased. He wanted to run and looked forward to meeting Duncan. They found Cora and some workmen and hurried up the line. How nice and smooth the rails are, thought Scarlowy. They mended all the old bumps. Rusty has helped to do that. I must tell him how nice it is. Duncan had stuck at the far end of the tunnel. His coaches were outside and the passengers were helping the driver and the fireman to dislodge some rocks wedged between the top of his cab and the tunnel roof. Duncan was cross. I'm a plain blunt engine, he kept saying. I speak as I find. Tunnels should be tunnels and not rabbit holes. This railway is no good at all. Don't be silly, snapped his driver. This tunnel is quite big enough for engines who don't want to wrap and roll. They cleared away the rocks and Scarlowy pulled Duncan and his coach safely through. Cora was left on a siding and the workmen stayed to make sure all was safe. Duncan grumbled all the way home, but Scarlowy paid no attention. The thing controller was waiting for them to listen. To me, Duncan, he said, there's nothing wrong with that tunnel. You're stuck because you tried to do rock and roll. If it happens again, I'll cut you down, your cab and your funnel too. Duncan, banished, was neither plain or blunt for a whole evening. Rock and roll. When Scarlowy turn came, and he was glad to take out the coaches and meet old friends. He met Rusty up the line, he said. If I couldn't see the old places, I think I was on a different railway. Rusty laughed. We hope you wouldn't, Mr. Ho. Our foreman said Rusty. Scarlowy's coming home. Moved the track so well that he won't know where he is, and we did. And you didn't. If you take my meaning, Scarlowy chuckled away. He liked the hard-working, friendly little engine. Still one bad bit, said Rusty anxiously. That evening, it's just before the first station. We hadn't time. Never mind, said Skarloey. It's much better now than it was. Maybe better, but it's no good, replied Rusty. An engine might come off there. Peter, Sam, and Sir Handel take care, and so do you. But I'm worried about Duncan. His wheels do rock and roll. I shouldn't like his passengers hurt. What's that about me? I'm a plain engine and believe in plain speaking. Speak up and stop whispering in corners. Rusty told Duncan about the bad bit of line and warned him to be careful. Huh, he grunted. I know my way about. Thank you. I don't need Smelly Diesel to tell me what to do. Rusty looked hurt. Never mind, said Skarloey. You've done your best. He said no more, but he thought a great deal. Next morning, Rusty left Duncan to find his own coaches. Duncan snorted and banged about the yard, then clattered crossly to the station. James was there already. You're late, he snapped. I know, said Duncan. Is that Smelly Diesel's fault? He thinks he can teach me how to stay on the rails and then go off and leave me to find my own coaches. You poor engine, sympathized James. I know all about diesels. One crept into our yard and orders us about. I soon sent him packing. Duncan gazed at him admiringly. He didn't know that James was boastful and sometimes didn't tell the truth. Send him packing, snorted Duncan. He climbed the first hill furiously. Well done, boy, keep it up, encouraged his driver. They were soon near the first station. Duncan was pleased. Nothing happened, he chortled. Silly old Diesel, clever me. He swaggered along during his rock and roll. Steady, boy. His driver tried to check him, but too late. There was tearing, crackling, crunching sound, and Duncan stopped bumpily. Sleeper and Bolest, he exclaimed. I'm off, and he was. I warned him, said Rusty crossly. Duncan, I said you'd be careful on that bit of line, but all he did was to call me names. Mr. Who kept turning Rusty handle. Come on, he urged. Start up. No, Mr. Who, sir. I'm sorry to disoblige, but it won't help that Duncan. I'm ashamed of you, Rusty, says Skarloey severely. Think of the passengers. What are they going to do? Oh, said Rusty, I've forgotten them. I'm sorry, Mr. Who, sir. We must help the passengers. And his engine roared into life. Oh dear, thought Duncan. Now everyone will know how silly I am. Presently, Mr. Who and Rusty bought sleepers and old rails. Mr. Who showed the passengers how to use them, and they soon levered Duncan back to the line. Duncan was extra careful all day. Rusty, he whispered that night. Thank you for helping. I'm sorry I was rude. That's all right. I wish all Diesel were like you. Let's be friends. Suits me, smiled Rusty. We'll mend that bad bit first thing tomorrow. Little old twins. One day, the owner brought some people to see the railway. He showed them everything. They travelled in the trains and looked at station bridges and coaches. Yes, they would say thoughtfully, we'll take this, or no, we won't take this. They made notes in their books. Peter Sam whispered to Sir Handel. Men came and did that on our line, and then said, Sir Handel. Soon afterwards, it was sold. Finish, Peter Sam. Mournfully. Peter Sam didn't sing anymore. He wanted to cry. The other engine ferries were sad too. What's the matter with you? Oh, his driver asked him one day, you look like dying ducks. We don't want to be sold, said Peter Sam miserably. Sold? The driver was stupid. Who to? To those people who came and talked about taking things. You silly little engine, laughed his driver. They're going to buy us. They're going to take our pictures on televisions, and he tried to explain what they meant. Not going to be sold, not going to be sold, sang Peter Sam. He can hardly wait to tell the others. He told them about the television as well, and they were pleased and excited to accept Sir Handel. Don't hold with it, he grumbled. Vulgar, I call it. Fancy tramping about making an expedition of yourselves. I won't do it, I'll tell you. Tell you something indeed. I just let the thin controller come here. I'll tell him something. Scarlo, said nothing. He just winked at Peter Sam like this. But the next day, when the thin controller did come to explain about the television, Sir Handel kept strangely quiet. Now, said the thin controller at last, I want every engine to take part. I don't feel well, ordered Sir Handel. You poor engine, said the thin controller gravely. You can stay in the shed. Sir Handel smiled brutally. And to drive and find machines to take you to pieces. They will make a very interesting picture. Just what we need. Sir Handel feelings were beyond words. That's that, said the thin controller. Now, Scarloey, will you take Agnes, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima, and Beatrice? Yes, please, sir. I was hoping you would let me have them. Duncan shall have a good train, while Rusty with Mr. One Man can show how we mend the line. Please, sir, what about me, sir? Asked Peter Sam anxiously. The thin controller smiled. You, Peter Sam? Well, shall put the special television trains? Oh, sure, bubbled Peter Sam in ecstasy. The television man built towers for cameras beside the line. They put cameras on Ada, to unveil Gertrude with wires and instruments. Sound trucks coupled behind carried aerials and generators. Everyone practiced hard till they knew just what they had to do. At last the time came and the announcer gave the signal. We're on the air, puffed Peter Sam, and he rolled a heavy train to the shops. While Sir Handel were being mended, Sir Handel did not enjoy the visit. We're on the air, chanted Peter Sam. He trundled over the bridge near the metal station. Peep, peep, he whistled. To Duncan, we're coming. The announcer talked to Duncan, and they pulled over the second bridge to Quarry Siding, where Rusty, Mr. Hugh, and the men were waiting to explain about their work. Soon they had to go. Peter Sam whistled. Rusty tooted in reply, and they clattered through the tunnel, rumbled over the fade up near the waterfall, and rolled at last into the pop station. The owner climbed down. We arranged for television, he said, to let everyone see our little old engines. We're proud of him. 95 years old and good as new. There's nothing like him anyway. There's cheers for Scarloey. Peep, peep, peep. Whistled Peter Sam, and everybody joined in. Scarloey smiled. I'm very glad to be home again. Thank you, sir, and all for your nice surprise. Now I'll surprise you. Listen, when I was mended in England, I found my twin, the owner stared. Is there really another engine like you? Yes, sir, chuckled Skarloey. There is another engine came to be mended too, called Tallyalion. When the workmen saw us together, they laughed and called us the little old twins. Tallyalion told me about his railway. It is a lovely one at Talion in Wales. Well, sir, they mended us both and sent us home. How often I think of Talion. He's 95 years old, just like me. Please go to see him, all of you, and wish him dry rails and good running from Skarloey, his little old twin. The end. Right, I'm going to tell you the titles in this series, alright? We got the 3 old railway train engines, Thomas the Tank Engine, James the Red Engine, Tank Engine, Thomas again. Troublesome engines, Henry the Green Engine, Toby the Tramp Engine, Gordon the Big Engine, Edward the Blue Engine, 4 little engines, Percy the Small Engine, the 8 famous engines, Duck and the Diesel engines, the little old engine, this one, the twin engines, branch line engines, gallant old engines, Stephanie the Bluebell engine, mountain engines, very old engines, mainline engines, small rail engines, enterprising engines, Oliver the Western engine, Duck the Lost engine, and last but not least, tramway engines. Alright. Okay. And now I'm going to read the back of the book. Alright. This book tells you what happened when Skarloey came home after being mended. You will be remembered from the 4 little engines that Sir Handel Brown, the owner, that sent him away. Skarloey is not real, but there is a real engine just like Skarloey. He's a very, very old and has to be mended. His name is Talion and he lives in a town in Wales. Choo-choo!